worries. Do you actually have to work tomorrow?
No, I'm out. I was out today, and I decided to call out tomorrow because I'm still running a pretty substantial fever. So just
Got you.
figured I'd try to kick it this weekend.
Yep, sounds good. All right. Well, last we left off, you were all in the company of Carl Linnaeus, a scholar of sorts that you have a long history with, Ricote. You had been set up inside of a local smokehouse and had just been kind of enjoying drinks and cigars as the hours pass. And Carl, to his credit as a professor, is not very good at holding his drink. As practiced as he would like to be, you see this man just start to kind of fumble and fall, and eventually just kind of lazily accept the conversation that comes in turn, before eventually looking at you square in the face, Rakote, and saying, Rakote, my friend, you're lucky. You can still live as a person does. You have hands and feet instead of flippers and a tail. There's so many people less fortunate than you. He'll just kind of start shaking his head.
This guy's gonna
Uh,
get canceled by the internet.
Rakote will he'll just sort of look across the table, knowing that this is how he can get when he's uh, had a few, and he'll say, "Yes, I suppose it is an additional blessing I should count each night before bed."
The kind of silent figure of Wordsmith, the smoking man, will lean forward and say, Carl, one should talk only when they have something to contribute. And Carl's face will kind of pucker a bit, and he'll look over to Rakote as if he wasn't aware that he said anything off. But he will lean backwards, and he will just frankly say, I meant it as a compliment. I am grateful that my friend is here and in good health, and surrounded by these lovely people. And he will look at you, pale lady, and say, I really did mean it. I hope that you and I can have a chat. There's so much that you know.
The pale lady has been looking around the room, sort of half listening to the conversation. She takes in the sights, not really. She seems very out of place. She doesn't really frequent establishments so much. So she, sitting at the height someone would stand at, looks down as she realizes someone is sort of addressing her. She says, "Whoa,
Yeah, that's not right. I'm gonna find a bar, but continue.
that's okay. I didn't turn down my music, so it's not
Uh,
it's not your
I really
fault."
hits you with it.
Yeah,
make it a honky tonk. Put achy breaky heart on with like some reverb on it.
Oh, cyberpunk bar. Don't mind if I do.
yeah. But she'll say, "Oh, yes, it is acceptable. I would be happy to share with you my wisdoms that were granted to me, if that is what you wish."
Oh, that is exactly what I'm hoping for. This ocean, as much as we understand, is always deeper and frankly bigger than we give it credit for. For instance, and he'll kind of lean forward, almost as if he's like conspiring with you, he will say, Why do certain fish let you breathe beneath the waves, while others simply fill your stomach? Is there a method, hereto undiscovered? I promise you, friends, we will know when the work is done. My tenure depends on it. And he will kind of nod to you, pale lady, as if, yes, he would like to talk with you, but he immediately drowns out anything that you could contribute.
She's sort of blinklessly watching him, not really following the train of logic.
And he will push forward a card and say, Whenever you find the time, I will make it. For you, my lady. He will just kind of check his pockets and realize that he's been here far longer than he should. And he
Uh,
will, go ahead.
Rakote will chime in and say, "Perhaps early in the day, you see, when the sun is low in the sky, the drinks come out."
Well, some of us have been working since before the sun has risen. I didn't. I'm sorry, friends. I should have controlled myself. I'm just relieved and happy to be working with you again, Rakote. This is a good tiding.
Uh, yeah, him appearing much less offended than the wordsmith might fear that he is. Uh, Sort of just puffs on his cigar and gives him a friendly nod as an acknowledgement to that.
Yeah, and he will say, "Until we meet again, new friends and old." And he will kind of very sloppily get out of his chair and eventually find his way to the door. Eventually, like definitely taking his time to do so. And you will just see Wordsmith's head crane ever slightly until Carl is completely left. At which point he will turn to you, Rakote, and say, "He is an intelligent man, but he rarely knows when to stop."
Uh, he'll continue puffing and he'll say, uh, "He is more used to the company of books and peers than he is the polite conversation of friends. But he means no harm. This I understand."
"Then you are a captain to your credit," he will say, kind of leaning back, despite what the rumors might say.
And what do the rumors say?
"That you're a simpleton. That you got caught with your pants down. That you are dealing in coffins."
He'll look around at the word coffins just to kind of get a precursory look to see if anybody is listening into this conversation or if that stirred any attention.
Go ahead and give me a notice. Challenge of one.
Uh,
You look around.
oh,
You can.
That was me.
that was me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh,
Of course you didn't.
you are in a den of thieves as far as you're concerned, Rakote.
Yeah.
Every back is one that is ready to plunge a knife into yours should you
I
let your guard down.
I billowed a big puff of cigar smoke and then turned my head directly into it, and my watering eyes were forced shut. So I look like a giant pussy.
Mac, everyone here is already engaged. Whatever kind of attention they were paying to you has long since passed.
uh, she's kind of watching the movement out of the corner of her eye, and she's still just holding the card between her fingers, not really sure what to do with it. It's just kind of hovering there.
Uh, Rakote will say, "Yes, well, there is some truth to these rumors. I am a simpleton to have set my aim so high, believing the repercussions wouldn't be so severe. But I am curious. Who tells you this? Who speaks of these coffins?"
Um, he will say nothing for a time, and then after a moment, kind of rejoin and say, "Retribution, then. It's a strong motivator. Revenge. It's good
I
enough for kings. Should be good enough for you."
Is that why you were on the island? Contraband? I see. You seek revenge on the person who turned you in.
um he will look over his shoulder and he'll say, "Not turned me in. I," and he'll sort of tap his finger on the table and of the word of wordsmith. I keep calling him the word the wordsmith
Honestly, yeah.
like he's a Homestar Runner character, and I go visit the wordsmith. Is wordsmith a trustworthy fellow? Do I know him?
I would say contacts or empathy. What skill would you like to roll?
I would prefer contacts.
Contacts of 2.
Okay, contacts of 2. Given my first roll, I can probably fail that catastrophically.
You know what I revealed in the character description. It's a cultural liaison. He hears and speaks to many people.
Okay. Could potentially be. Uh, it could be good and bad then. To divulge to him. So, not I guess knowing entirely how advantageous this is. Rakote will continue to say to the Pale Lady, well, to everybody in earshot, but she was the one who had addressed it. He'll say, "The coffins were not mine. They were planted on the Anaphalie." He says, "And I seek to find who planted them. I'm willing to pay very handsomely."
You have many enemies then.
Yes, he does.
One very powerful in particular who has many friends. Arguably. Uh, Arguably the most influential enemy to a merchant on these seas.
He's speaking of Tyburn, a conglomerate
The
of
trading
ships.
ships. Yes. The large vessels.
He will be a bit surprised, but just nod.
They are the largest ships that sail between the seas. I am aware. They have. How long have they been kind of like in power?
200 years.
Okay. Uh, they have been in power for quite a long time.
As they should. They carry the king's favor. It makes them very dangerous people, but it does not make them invincible. And he will look pointedly towards you, Rakote, that you can only tell by like a presence. You just kind of feel his eyes on you.
More kings, then. First, the king of rats. Now, the king of men.
Uh, he he'll look a little pensively at that, and he'll say, "I make no claim to oppose the king." He says, "In fact, realistically, I make no claim to contest Tyburn. I learned that lesson the first time that they threw me aboard the Isle of Rats. However, Tyburn is a large and influential corporation. They would not have dirtied their own hands. Somebody, uh, somebody sold out when they accepted bid from Tyburn to incriminate the Anaphalie, to ruin her to the pitiful state that she is now. I seek to find them."
I see.
That was a tall order you set on yourself.
He'll tap the ash out on his cigar, and he'll say, "Well, I don't have much left. As my friend says, I am one of the lucky ones in that I still have my mind, but I don't know for how long. Before it robs me of the satisfaction of realizing what it is I've bested my enemy, I'd like to put it to use. And so I shall." And he'll kind of look to the people that are with him. He'll say, "Everyone here has been slighted, and everyone here wants something similar. I offer it to them, and in turn, I'm sure that when the time comes, they will help me."
And in that spirit, I think it is fair to tell you you are searching for two peoples, not one.
He will lean in forward at that, kind of dropping the cigar to the table.
Dropping it out of his mouth.
Chewing it.
Drop it
Chewing.
drop it onto the carpet, and almost immediately the club goes up in a blaze.
The gasoline varnish they've applied.
The Daredevil logo lights up on the
Yes!
wall, spreads to the curtains.
Then a Punisher logo shows up. Then the
yeah.
S.
He'll lean forward at that, and he'll say, "And do you have the names of these two peoples?"
He will just say nothing, and then kind of like rolling a one of the let's say a spoon, like some of the silver on the table, in one of his hands. He will say, "You mentioned favors.
Yes, anything.
Well, I think I have an opportunity for you. You could revenge yourself on Tyburn and those people who sold you at the same time. Though I promise you, it would put you back in Tyburn's path.
He'll say, I assure you that is not a problem.
There is a very important woman, a woman I would like to meet. Tyburn's looking for her as well. If you were to find her and bring her back, I could arrange an introduction with those two men you were searching for."
He'll say, just tell me who I'm looking for.
Okay, 1 second. There it is. A woman by the name of Jessica Laurent. She's she's currently being held behind quite a barricade in White Cliff. Tyburn has spared no expense turning the isle looking for her, but they have not found her yet, or at least I have not heard that they have. That is where you'd find her.
Uh, he'll look very intensely at that, and he'll say, understood. White Cliff it is.
I mentioned a blockade not for the dramatic effect. It's a practical concern, one that you'll have to address.
He'll continue to look as if to indicate he's listening.
Yeah, he will continue and say, "None but Tyburn are allowed to pass. It is a very sensitive matter, this Jessica Laurent. They intend to maintain the barricade until she is found."
He'll kind of tap his fingernail on the table, and he'll say, "This barricade, is it on the sea or on the shore?"
The sea. There are not many ways to traverse White Cliffs. The dock is the only, she will say, advantageous entrance. But they, again, have spared no expense. There are numerous soldiers, muscle men, all that sort, on the isle as well. If you go asking for her, they will take notice.
I see.
I tell you all of this because I know who you are, and I know what you've done. Escaping the Isle of Rats. And he will kind of look at all four of you at this point and say, "I'm sure it would make quite a story, and one I would enjoy to hear, but for now it will qualify you for this."
Uh, he says, "I could not think of a better destination for the Anaphiles maiden voyage."
He will just nod and say, "I believe there still is time, but I would not dally for too long."
He'll nod at that in understanding.
And from a mechanic standpoint, I am not trying to like bully us into going there. This is just a quest.
Yeah.
Like this is honestly a pretty video gamey campaign, so like things will move forward, but you do have time. I'm not trying to direct the thing, so he will just kind of nod, seeing that the information has been received, and let's say he will stand up from his seat at this point and just say, "It's been an honor to meet you, Captain.
He'll say, "And you as well."
He will nod again and say, sometimes men are more than their stories. And just kind of like give you a single tap on the shoulder with his knuckle as he leaves. And you will all be kind of left to converse in this bar if that be your wish.
Sure. Uh, yeah, Rakote will kind of look from person to person, probably settling on Crow, and say, "Did you find your way here well, Crow?"
He just stares for a long time before asking, "What is thy inquiry?"
He'll say, uh, "The streets of, gosh, where are we? This is
Port of the Nameless.
the streets of the Port of the Nameless are busy at all hours. I imagine as you were crossing the town, you might have come across some information in regards to your endeavors."
Aye.
He'll say, "You have a lead then."
He holds out his list where Joseph Bissett is at the top with marginal notes scrawled in his own hand atop the mystic one. He says, "Parliament of Pleasure."
He will nod at that, and he'll say, "Well, we're in luck. The professor, chatty as he can be, is also not without his uses. He's given me an errand uh, in exchange for 4 fish across the deepest recesses of the sea. He will charter us a course to the Parliament of Pleasure, circumventing the usual difficulties that would come from that."
Crow stares. He's not going to thank you.
He'll say, "And so, as we make our first voyages from island to island, I will hunt for these fish. And once I have all 4, we will turn them in, and we will sail to the Parliament of Pleasure." And he'll look to you, Rastavan, and he'll say, "And what of you, my friend? Was there anywhere that you needed to go?"
Yeah, the Dawn Machine to the southwest past Whitecliff.
He'll nod on that, and he'll say, "Fortuitous, then. It may be... it may serve us well to... He'll say, in the same region, it may serve us well to visit there first, while we figure out how it is we're going to break through the barricade, or sneak past it entirely."
My character doesn't say that.
Yeah, Crow's staring off to the side.
There's a barricade around Whitecliff? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, yeah. There's a Tyburn barricade up at the dock of Whitecliff.
Okay.
So I was suggesting maybe we go to the Dawn Machine. Unless we have to pass through there anyway.
I'm going to be upfront, no. If you went to the Dawn Machine. It's more so if you try to get into Whitecliff, then there are challenges.
So we could potentially go there first.
Yep.
Okay. So Sorry, the dogs are taking the longest drink of their life.
They got
Parched.
straws.
Uh, all right. How many days was it until we're ready to leave here?
I mean, 3 in the canon, but
Okay.
really it's however long you guys want to kind of stay here and figure things out. I figure we at least like spend a little bit of time here and move on.
Sure.
But also you guys could just choose not to. Like that's fine, and we
Yeah.
just move on to the next scenario.
Okay. Rakote will say then, in the time that we have left on the island, before the Anaphilia is ready to make her voyage, I intend to accumulate as much wealth and reputation as our coterie can command. But I would not ask of you to exhaust yourselves. If there's any business that you would see to while we are here, see to it. But I intend to be productive each day. I would appreciate your accompaniments, but do what you will.
Crow, having just caught up, will have his first question be, what delay?
He'll look over and he'll say, yes. Unfortunately, my business was left in shambles, and with it, the ship in a state of inconvenient disrepair. But it will be ready to sail in 3 days' time.
There's a quick gross up of Crow's face with like a sound effect of a man screaming in the background as he feels huckstered for about the 3rd time by this little gnome.
Does he say anything, or does he just...
No, he shows his emotions the way he always does, which is to cast a disparaging glance at you and wordlessly leave.
Yeah, Rakote will watch him go and then return to his cigar.
Okay.
Well, I'll accompany you, I suppose. Why not? I got nothing else to do on this island.
Yes. So long as you will take me across the sea, I will accompany you until the job is done.
I'll say, that much has never changed. And do not mistake my curiosity for errantry. Every job done, every bit of reputation, and every piece of gold in our pockets leads us closer to that goal.
Pale Lady is still playing with the card she has been given, turning it over in her hands, idly.
I guess for the sake of brevity too, as far as Rakote is concerned, he's going to stay here for as long as he can tonight, drinking and smoking, just kind of relishing in being free. And we'll start setting out on stuff tomorrow.
Yeah. There is. This place runs throughout the night. It caters to all kinds of folk, though they tend to be the wealthier class. Is there anything specific that you would want as you're here, or is it just really passing with drink and revelry?
I think he's probably just steeling himself for what's to come.
Okay. Yeah. Then just kind of like occasionally ordering drinks and cigars. Rakote, you can pass in the kind of quiet company of people that aren't eating rat or hunting one another or cannibalizing themselves. It is just the company of common folk. Everyone else, Rakote is kind of set to be here. Are there any vignettes or things that you would like to do during the night?
I'm just gonna hang out here and carve one of my symbols into the tongue that I got.
Yeah. I guess. Do you want to decide what that is now, or like what that what you want that challenge to be, or do you want to just figure that out in the moment. Do you want to kind of surprise that?
Do it now.
Okay. What are you hoping to achieve by doing this?
I'm gonna use one of my marks and put it on it if possible.
So this is a boss item, and I think what we're gonna do is really let you get fucking wild with this. I'm gonna set the challenge at a 1 for your lore. Everything above that is a detonative explosive. It is full of potent energies. So we'll set the challenge at a 1.
Cool.
Oh my god, no!
Fucking once every session.
Fuck.
Oh my god, it's a 7. Holy shit. Yeah,
Actually
all
kinda
right.
works because I imagine him spending literally all night with like a knife, which is not usually what he does with his marks. He kind of just places them with his finger, but he's very pointedly digging it into the flesh of the tongue of the Rat King and making it very permanent.
Yeah, Rossman, there are moments where it seems as if the latent energy of this being, this creature that is over 100 years old, seems as if it will just erupt from your hands. But you are a skilled practitioner of your art, and despite its best intentions, you contain all of that within this pound of flesh in your hands. And yeah, that's a +7 explosive, so I can only imagine that's the Schrodinger, or not Schrodinger's cat, what is it? Chekhov's C4.
Chekhov's tongue.
Yeah, Chekhov's tongue, I'm sure that'll work.
Put a tongue on the wall. It's gonna be better and use it to explode at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Painted Lady, what would you do?
Barring we had set some sort of rendezvous place for the morning, I think she would head toward the ocean, or at least the bay.
Yeah.
Uh, and I like the visual of her going to the docks and sitting out on one of the docks and just singing like she does every morning.
Yeah, from your position up high, this is kind of like a vertical city at points, kind of built into a mountain. You look down and you see a wedding procession kind of moving down the street, and your song kind of carries, and the bride and groom look up for a moment to just kind of like understand who is providing this, but they just nod and kind of accept it as you see them move towards the water and move into it. The rest of the procession stays in the back, but this man and woman move out hand in hand in a kind of flowing white, which trails behind them as they move further and further out until they are entirely submerged. And after a minute of this, you see them break through the surface, and there is a cheer from the other end, all of which is accompanied by your kind of wistful singing.
They breach the surface and they're covered in fins and
2 goldfish.
Two goldfish.
Yeah, and the cheering just kind of continues as the people swim back ashore, just kind of laughing into the waiting arms of their families and friends who kind of throw blankets over them as they move back into the bar. And that's kind of the height of the excitement. Beyond that, it really is just ships coming and going in their various forms.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a shot of her sitting at the end of the dock, observing all of this, observing the light, the night changing color like it does every night. This kind of way that night goes much quicker when your life moves much slower and the sky goes from, dark indigo to like pink.
Mm-hmm.
And she just sings toward the north.
Yeah. And your song carries through the night as each of you, except Crow, where's the song find you? Where are you at?
He stumbles upon the nearest thing that catches his eye since he's inert here with the little con man's ship under work. But he's going to see a giant conquered beast hanging from a bloodied fish hook and float over to it like a pie on a windowsill.
Yeah. What you see is a large scuttler, and let me reveal that. A massive aqua-tinged crab with these brilliant red eyes has been strung up in between two massive fish hooks that kind of struggle under the weight of this thing. And you can see that this is a recent catch, in fact, that the fishermen that have brought it ashore are just kind of cheering and celebrating their catch. And the previous winner, the kind of what would it be? The kind of the biggest catch of the day is easily thrown aside as this scuttler is brought aboard, and people go about fastening it to a mast.
I'm just standing there like a kid in front of a storefront window, observing the thing,
Yeah,
weighing
you'll
it.
hear the captain of the ship just say, "Careful now. I've lost 3 men to this beast. I'll make sure that it knows the pain it's caused." That'll be kind of a nod of approval from a few of the men as one of them jams a spear into the eye, and it just kind of like recoils immediately. As it is hoisted ever higher, you see it just like an inch, 2 inches. It just starts clearing the ground, and its legs kind of just try to find earth, but are completely removed from it.
He rotates his head to the nearest ropesman and says, "What be the purpose of this ceremony?"
The ropesman will kind of smile gruffly and say, "To prove who's best. Only thing that matters."
He looks up and says, "Is it not already proven? Be this not defeat?"
He will kind of look towards his captain and then say quietly to you, "The captain lost his brother. I don't think this is done. Not until he decides it is."
Aye. He's gonna lean in to this person and say, "Should be thee gone, if thou dost not want to see the next part. Thou art uninvolved, but continued presence will involve thee."
The man will. I mean, are you trying to hide your intention at all? He has an empathy of 1. He's going to try to parse what you're saying.
He's about to follow through on the self-compel on thou art predator or prey I want to do, which is that I am clutching a sharp implement in hand, and I am very close to the rope that is suspending this thing.
He will look at you squarely and say, "You better not."
Thou hast been given thy chance.
He will kind of stand up a bit more, and he will say, "I mean it."
Mean it as well. And he's gonna slash his little net cutting knife across the rope.
Yeah, so he's going to try to contest that, but he only has an athletics of 2, so he's going to try to reach for your hand and prevent what you're doing.
Which should I do? Is it
I
about
mean,
speed or fight?
I think speed. You could cut the rope. That's not the issue. It's whether or not
Okay.
you beat him to the punch. So, athletics of 2. Yeah, perfect. Describe to me what happens.
His hand lurches up and sails just over this man's palm, and the little notch in the blade catches the rope and cuts across it, which should, to Crow's aim, send the mechanism spindling back down so the thing can crash back to ground where it gets its purchase.
Yeah. This music's incredibly light for this.
And Crow will say, "If the captain can defeateth the beast, let us see."
You say this, the man is already spun around and is shouting for his captain. As you say, let us see, and you see all 20 of the men from this vessel charge forward as one of the ropemen who was not alerted is completely torn in half by this thing's massive blue claw, just kind of spilling his stomach into the ground below.
Crow's backing up with his arms wide, like, look at this!
Oh my god, okay. Yeah. Do you stick around?
I'm getting a safe distance back because... Oh, I could only dream of being the dung eater.
The loathsome crow.
Just being hogged by the entire town.
I told him not to. Why did he do it? Why?
You can tell that this is friendly because they're hurling shit at him, which is snacks.
Ew.
Crow dies with a smile on his face because he got a fate point. It was worth it.
The Oblivion aggro music does not stop throughout the night.
Stop. You violated the law. Crow, in front of you is Bedlam. This is a kind of a fisherman's wharf. There are dozens of men that are familiar with the sea all around you, and it is going to take their combined wisdom to take on this creature, which immediately turns on its captors. Stalls are upended, calls for arms are made, and already as you kind of turn over your shoulder, you see that men are being knocked into the roiling blue water below as all of these men converge on this beast.
I'm going to de-separate the party where I can, and he's just going to take a leisurely stroll watching this from the waterfront.
Yeah.
But happen upon the Pale Lady and coincidentally another World of Warcraft quest event on the map.
This one hasn't happened yet, but yes.
He's walking along, and in the distance, once he comes upon her, he notices her and stands aside her, but continues watching the entertainment he's provided himself.
Yeah, from your position, Pale Lady, your song still carries, but to the far north, you hear shouts and a few rifle shots.
Let's see. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to gauge, like, how far away.
Looking from your position, let's say like 2 miles out.
Alright. Alright, it's far enough out that it seems like just an event happening in the distance.
Yeah, if you could intervene, but yeah, at this point, you are far enough away, I can't, like, just automatically pull you in.
I'm just trying to gauge my response.
Mm-hmm.
You could stop this.
A good person could stop this.
It's like, if you found the wherewithal in your heart, you could stem the loss of life.
Well, I didn't know who started it.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, presumably she's still singing, and I don't even know if she necessarily notices Crow at first as he approaches.
Like a weird kid trying to socialize and pointing out the dead bug in his windowsill, he just points out across the bay to it.
She'll lift her eyes, and then she'll her voice will kind of die down, and she'll turn to you and say, "What is it?"
rule of nature at play.
She'll turn her head and say, cheers for her. Why have you come to show me?
Didn't. Happened upon you.
I see. Why are you showing me now?
Amusing.
I could imagine. It may be. We are no longer on the Isle of Rats. You realize this, yes?
Rule applies everywhere. Isle of Rats simply blatant.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I want to feel this. She'll turn, still sort of kneeling on her flipper, and say, we had an accord. I needed your strength to leave the island. But here I need the fisherman's ship to sail across the sea.
Invalid doesn't have ship. Has a wreck. Another lie.
It will be fixed in time. It is inconsequential.
Thou still hast thy uses for hunting.
Yes.
Accord not over.
Is he talking about our accord, his and mine?
Yeah.
Okay. The ways of cruelty served us on the island, but they will not serve us everywhere.
Sorry.
Oh!
Sorry.
So it opens up, starts pouring.
Yeah.
Like a Sims game.
All my noise reset on my music, so that's always fun.
I am not hunted everywhere. And there are those that do not seek death. They have not earned it. Not yet. I am asking you not to get in the way of the fisherman's need to refurbish his ship.
To say, have no quarrel. Can fix ship.
Oh,
However,
am I the only one hearing Declan's voice?
Nah, it got
Okay.
chip tuned a little bit, unfortunately.
For some reason, every now and then, the voice mod thing just decides to tank completely, and it just turns
Oh
into
my.
utter static.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
It comes and goes, but
I think it
most
has to
part,
do
it's
with the
fine.
processing. I gotta like do a deep dive on my computer. Something has gone wrong with just the general fucking processing, and like it's the type of slow where you click on something, like you click to switch tabs, and it just sort of the whole computer doesn't freeze, but the tab is like closing. It says like, wait, hold on. Okay, like clicking on
bad.
stuff has too much of a delay time for
Oh,
the
shit.
computer that I have.
That's annoying.
Damn.
I've done everything basic that I can in terms of saving space, and so I don't know what the fuck is going on. So yeah, probably it's having to process, I don't know, scrolling on Firefox and recording a video, so it's freaking the fuck out because I apparently have zero processing space left on my computer, even though that's not what it says it is.
So, repeat for me, please.
Yeah, testing.
So far, so good.
Have no quarrel with the creature building ship. However, oversold. Survives on deception and delay. Rodent. Has limited grace.
Well, we are at an impasse. Because I have necessity of his ship. I cannot sail where I need to go without it. He has come through on his promises, and I will give him that grace. I cannot swim to the north. I have tried. And the Tyburn ships are too difficult to penetrate.
What hath he come through upon?
He has a ship, and in 3 days' time it will be fixed. If not, then we will see. What is 3 days in the face of eternity?
A hungry stomach.
It is as I said. Our accord need not continue. That is your choice.
It does, and thou wilt serve it.
She'll turn over, kind of like listening to the sounds of quarrel happening in the distance. And she will turn back to the dock, kind of looking over the pink sort of sunset. And she'll just go back to singing.
So I will. There's still plenty going on over the shore, but I have updated it accordingly. No, fuck me. Yeah, right. um, as the the sounds of gunfire are eventually silenced, and the sun fades, and this entire city, just kind of is painted purple with night. And ostensibly, you guys have lodgings. You could stay at Rakote's kind of dock house that he has. It's sparse, but there are accommodations for you. And once that new day has started, all of these quests, all these kind of objectives open up to you all. So we can move as fast as you guys want.
I think as the sounds of fighting die down, eventually the Pale Lady will just remark, "It seems they have slain their beast."
Then the rule is they have earned it.
We get messages in the top right of our screen that say that certain quests are not completable
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Certain NPCs are dead, absolutely, after that.
Well, now we got a cool hunt crow quest, so this is fun.
You just have to combine those two quests: a funeral service prepares to commend bloodied men.
Yeah, you're a problem solver. You're gonna get all the XP.
I like the idea that they could. Let's just combine funerals. Let's have a communal funeral.
Come on the ship.
Ever the
What could be-
pragmaticist.
All right, well, throw a couple more bodies into the water there.
Schedule all these.
Yeah.
Jump all
What?
once.
The ocean's not big enough? What? Just put them fucking in it. Christ.
Come on down to Dave's graves. If you got a bunch of people you need to bury, put them all in one mass grave together for a discount.
The water slide that you just shoot them down like they're sausages.
Oh,
Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Come on down.
You got 2 working hands. I got somewhere for you to put them. Cut that. That sounded suggestive. Okay. In that case, over the course of the night, each of you are able to find lodgings, whether that be with Rakote or not. And in the morning, you are greeted with a brilliant sun, and realize that you have not been pestered by rats, or thieves, or criminals of any kind.
Except for
That-
Crow.
Yeah, except for Crow. That you are still firmly planted in the port of the Nameless.
oh, thank God it wasn't a dream.
Yeah, wow, that would have been a big
Shame
reveal.
secrets.
Yeah, you open your eyes, and the muddy rain of the Isle of Rats is pattering against your forehead as you realize you.
Yeah, Laus's actual ability was to there's like a mist that he exudes inside that tunnel and makes us think that we
Yeah.
escaped the whole time.
Yeah, you actually fell asleep in a mass grave of lepers. So
Your legs are gone. So,
I'll,
3 days are ahead of you. What will you do?